And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free.
It's Cam, it's Braun, it's Kratz. You know what we haven't done in a minute, Kratz? A giveaway.
Power rankings.
Oh, no. Well, that's been 2 weeks. We're going to do those. Look at that Cam smile. He's excited to get involved on power rankings. I know
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I'm hyped. 10 games in, 11 games in. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys have. I know I'm excited about mine. I'm excited. I'm excited for Kratzy to disagree at probably like 3 of my 7 through 10. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, this is where you find out who doesn't like you on, say, YouTube and social media comments, and who really doesn't like you and thinks that you don't know ball or don't watch their team enough. This is the good stuff. So we'll get to that. But first off, let's give away some Adidas cleats, shall we? So we threw this up there on Twitter this morning. Like this post. It's on FT Twitter right now at FoulTerritory TV. Very easy to find. And you can comment. The comment is a really tough question. Your favorite player. We were not specific. We just want to see that you have a pulse. Who is your favorite baseball player? Can you name one that you love? For a chance to win a pair of Adidas at a 0 Impact Plus Florals in your size. Keywords at the end, in your size. So if you're like, I don't want that pair, it doesn't fit, we're going to get you the pair that fits your foot. So good luck to everyone. Did you guys comment on it? I put Ricky Henderson, RIP. Love Ricky. And actually, this shirt kind of helps to represent the A's fam a little bit. The green is for the Gators today, but still, love Ricky. Did you guys comment? And if not, do it now. But who would you put as your favorite player? Many people put Kratz and AJ as their favorite players, but I feel like they were just kissing up to the contest. It is a randomly selected contest, so that doesn't work.
You can always,
Who'd you say?
Who'd you say?
You can only say one player, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You don't have to take it too seriously, but who would you put on there?
I would probably. I mean, I grew up being a Griffey fan. I'm the '80s baby, so it was Griffey, Andrew Jones, and Mike Cameron. But I probably would have put Griffey.
You were barely in the 80s. You ain't that old, kid. You were getting on the end of the 80s. I put Garrett Stubbs as my favorite player. But what was cool, one of the first commenters, Michael Sockman Beer, he put me as a favorite player. So, I mean, I feel like he never saw me play, but that's okay. I'm not against it. Thank you, Michael Sockman Beer. Appreciate you.
Wow, that's good. That's deep with that shout out. I thought you were originally talking about Talkman, your buddy in the bigs, but you went next level on that shout out.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. One more announcement and then we'll charge. Tomorrow is our next playback game. Boom. Watch party. Watch along. All cast. We don't care what you call it. 4 o'clock Eastern time. Dodgers Nationals. So we'll do a daytime game this time around. You sign up for Playback. It's free, and you get to follow along the game with us. Just like the watch parties we've been doing for a couple years. This platform works for us, of course, to be able to stream the game all together, all at once. So meet us there. Obviously, an hour after FTN's Dodgers Territory host Solana Rizzo and Clint Pasillas will be involved, and I'm working on some other cool guests that will join us. More on that tomorrow. Let's charge.
Charging the mound.
Cam, we got to start with Hunter Greene. 8 2/3 shutout innings, 4 hits. The ERA is down to 1.31 after a few starts as the Reds and the Giants 7-game winning streak with a 2-0 dub. We saw some really good pitching performances yesterday. This one stood out. This is a guy who I think is reminding everyone that last year he was very much in the running for Cy Young, and he's doing things that even in a game with so much velo, no one else is doing. Carrying that velo into the 9th inning. He's pumping 99 plus in the 9th inning with the 89 slider. Almost got the CG. He's had one before. What did you think of these swings, misses, and takes?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. The thing that stood out to me more than anything is where his confidence level is right now. I mean,
Mm.
he was pumping 99 to 100 throughout the game, but now you can tell that he's starting to pitch. And I even wonder, and I would love to hear from Kratzy when you talk about a pitching standpoint. I think he's still learning, right? I saw a couple two-seamers at 99. You saw the four-seamer. I mean, he was north and south with it, the slider. But I think back early Verlander, right? When Verlander could pitch around 95, 96, and then go get that 100. Because when I watched guys in that game, there were a few balls that were squared up, right? Because guys are sitting 99 and 100. But I think he could even mess with timing even more if he could find a way to maybe just back off early in the game here and there. But it was a phenomenal performance, and he needed to have that kind of performance because when you look at what Logan Webb did on the other end, he was nasty as well. So it was fun to watch that outing between those two guys.
Yeah, there was just nothing to be had on the offensive side, especially when Hunter Greene, who we're talking about specifically, is able to spot that fastball down and away. That is something that it's forgotten. Not that teams don't want to do it, not that pitchers don't want to do it, but that's what the Braves have built their entire pitching philosophy on. People come back at me and say, Strider did this, Strider. I get it. There's some dudes that get into more of the new pitcher mold, and I think Hunter Greene, coming out of high school, being a dude that threw triple digits out of high school, everyone's like, he's going to be in the big leagues immediately. It doesn't happen for everybody. He's still 25. He's still 25 years old. This is now his fourth full season in the big leagues, and he has the tutelage of Derek Johnson. DJ is one of the best pitching coaches to be able to know how to make your mechanics really streamlined, but also be able to make all your pitches usable in the zone for outs. And I think that's what I've seen the last 2 years is he doesn't need to be a 12 to 15 punch out guy a game. He can go a little bit longer, hopefully with this new ability to mix and match in the zone. He's still pumping 100. It's not like he's a thumber now. He's still pumping 100. But to me, a big change for him this year that I think could elevate him from last year being a Cy Young contender to this year being a top 3 guy, Trevino behind the plate. Jose Trevino has caught some aces before in his career. He's had success, and I think that relationship will just continue to grow. He did an amazing job last night with him back there, so it's exciting for me to watch this guy.
And that's been a really hot team to start the year, Cam.
I want to add to that. Kratzy makes a great point that I think is really huge, and it takes a guy like Hunter Greene with that type of stuff to buy in. When you watch that game, Kratzy's right. He attacked in spots in the zone where he wanted to get contact, where he wanted to get early outs, because when you're throwing 98 to 100, guys are looking to ambush, right? They're not trying to get behind in the count. They want to get to you early. But you watch, and Kratzy, that's a great point. Early in those counts, there were fastballs up on the up outer half, down and in, right below the zone, where even some of them squared up, they were outs, and they were quick outs. So I think right there, learning that and understanding, yes, I want the punch out, and you're going to get it. But if I get these quick outs, that's going to really benefit me well and that bullpen also.
Yeah. And, I mean, to your point, Cam, look at what Greene just did yesterday, and let's comp a team that's going to be high up on all of our power rankings later, the Dodgers. Do they have a pitcher that can go that kind of deep? Now, the quick counter I'm going to take away from people is, well, they don't need it. Their bullpen's nasty. I agree. But do they have a guy that can go that deep? And the reason I ask it is Hunter Greene got hurt last year, and he's had TJ and all of that. But is there any correlation to guys that are kind of letting it all eat for 4 or 5 innings versus a guy who's figuring out how to navigate a lineup and get through an entire game, right? Not throwing your max velo at all times. I guess Hunter Greene might not be the best example for this case since he throws so freaking hard, but he can throw even harder. I mean, he can go 101. I think he's gone as high as 102 or 103. Mm-hmm. So I know there's been reports out there trying to figure out, of course, every pitcher is a ticking time bomb, but what's causing more of an issue? And I wonder if, cruise control helps to at least prevent larger issues.
Right. And again, when you mention that, hell, Hunter Greene might be trying to be around cruise control, pitching around 97 to 99. Like that might be his cruise control because, I mean, Kratzy's been behind the plate catching it. I've hit it, but it looks pretty effortless when you watch him throw. So, hey, he could be going. Hey, I am kind of backing off a little bit so I can have that 100 and maybe 101 late in the game. So I don't know, Scott, but that's a great point. But to answer your question about the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers have two guys. I think Yamamoto's a guy that can go deep in games. And watching Glass now, and I know it was raining, watching his breaking ball, Kratzy, I mean, I think he might have the best curveball in the game. So I think it's a matter of him being in the strike zone, watching that Hunter Greene performance, right? Finding his areas that he needs to tunnel and get those early outs. But I think Glass now, facing him and then watching him now, even the progression of his off-speed stuff, I think he has that wipeout type of stuff where he could go CG, if not a no-no at some point.
He has the best curveball. He has the best curveball in the game. I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of like any other bullpen pieces that would have just like a wipeout curveball. Nobody has the 12-6 curveball like him coming from 6'7" and pairing off at 99 with cut. Like, could he go that distance? Absolutely, he could. I don't know that everybody can throttle pitches back. I don't know that they can. I would love to see it, and I think that's where Hunter Greene could be. But even Hunter Greene, is he a 97 to 99 guy and then pop a 102? Or, I think each guy has to learn that, and each guy has to have the backing of the organization. Because if Tyler Glass now tries to like throttle his fastball and he gets throttled and he gives up 2 pumps during that time, the team's gonna be like, wait a minute, like we're looking for you to throw all of your best pitches 90 to 100 times, and then we'll go ahead and get the next guy in there who's going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to win the ball game. So it's not just a pitcher thing, it's an organizational thing too.
And by the way, to finish this, and then we'll get to Max Muncy, the Reds are focusing on pitching development more than people think. It's Great American Small Park. The offense actually has been the problem for them to start the year. Even yesterday, they scored 2 runs. What did my notes that I took down say when I did some math on their scoring? So they scored in a 2-game span, I believe it was 25 runs in a 2-game span. In the other 9 they've played, they've scored 16 times. You had the 2-run double late from Dunn. Obviously, Webb was really good, but they might be a pitching-heavy team. They might be a team that's identity is their pitching staff, giving them length and giving them swing and miss, which, has been a problem for them for a long time. Chase Burns, their first-round pick last year, was a shocker for many instead of Charlie Condon. Rhett Lauder was a first-round pick for them the year before. They are hunting for pitching right now because it's tough sometimes for them to recruit it. So good for them. A little bit of a different flavor of the Reds than we're used to, and we'll see if obviously the offense can bounce back. But let's swing back and get to Max Muncy. We'll talk Dodgers, Nationals, and what's going on for the first couple weeks with LA. All right, FT fam, if you are in a rush or you are struggling to figure out food on a daily basis, then be like me, be like us, and check out Hungryroot, okay? It's not just to get your meal prep going. Kratz, you got the bigger smirk, so you can go first. It's also to just get certain groceries that I actually can't find at local grocery stores, but they have them online. So I hit that, the cart knows what I want, and I get what I want delivered to my door.
When you run out of food by the end of the week and you're like, okay, it's time to go to the grocery store, you're sitting there, you're like, I could make good decisions if I just had some snacks. Hungryroot they'll add in, obviously you can get your meals and stuff like that. That's simple, that's easy. But when they add in those snacks into your order that you're like, I kind of like that. Like, I think the one's like an organic, like Reese's peanut butter cup. It's like,
yep,
delicious. It's so delicious. I forget what it's called, Justin's or something. But anyway, they add that stuff in and you're like, yeah, I'll take 5 of those because we got 5 people in the family. And then you just have that stuff around the house to always snack on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the different jerkies, chicken, turkey, all that. So they've got the sticks. They're good. Check them out, okay? Take advantage of the FT offer for a limited time. Get yourself 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life at hungryroot.com/FT. Use code FT. hungryroot.com/FT, code FT to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. All right, we're back for 2 minutes here, and then we'll talk to Max Muncy. Now, we got this queued up, so we'll show it to Max when we get to him. But AJ hit us up this weekend and was like, we got to talk to Max as soon as possible this week because they had a conversation, okay? Then AJ has to go root for the national championship team, the Florida Gators, who went on Saturday, and that messes up his travel plans. So we get to say whatever we want to communicate messages across from AJ to Max. Very important. So whatever you guys want to say and say, oh, well, AJ told me to tell you this, just get that ready in your head. Cam, I'm sure you've got something. Kratz probably has 80 things because he's on with him almost every day. So just let that stew for 30 seconds, and then we'll bring on Max. And, of course, you know what to do, FT fam in the chat. I want to make sure we get some questions in this time to Max. So please ask them early in the interview so we can see them and I can get them ready for later in the conversation. Be right back. Hey, here we go. Max Muncy joining us right now as the Nationals continue a series against these Dodgers, the defending world champs. Max, great to have you back on. Good to see you. Got a lot to cover. We haven't talked to you since you had your epic ditch the torpedo bat performance. I know a lot of people are sick of hearing that word, but I just wanted to get your response on FT to how cool that anti-torpedo game was. It's like Volpe and Jazz and some of those guys in the league are the poster boys, and you were kind of the opposite.
Well, the torpedo bat's cool to me because, I told several people there's only been about 6 or 7 different innovations when it comes to the bat in the 160 years that baseball's been around. The first was you went from ash to maple and then maple to birch, and then you cupped the bat, uncupped it, and then you have the torpedo bat now. So to me, the idea of it was really cool just because there's been so little innovation when it comes to the actual bat. But it's not going to be for everybody. Same thing when they added the puck to the bottom of the bat for some of those guys. It's just not for everybody. Some guys like their bats differently. And so for me, my whole career, I've swung the same model, and the weight is all the way at the very end of the bat. So you change that to be more in the center of the bat. It just felt really off to me. And, it might be one of those things where I would like it if I had it like all off season to swing, which I think a lot of those Yankees guys did have it for a while. But that's what happens when the guy that works for you comes up with it. You're granted early access to that kind of stuff. So, maybe if I had more time with it, I might like it. But for my swing right now, that's definitely not it.
Do you guys have something where you go and like see like a biomechanic engineer, like, hey, we're going to see your swing, we're going to measure your hands? Because back in 2012, I had a teammate, Tuffy Gosowicz. I don't know if you might have played against him.
Yeah.
He went and saw like a mechanic of some kind, and they measured everything. Do you guys have that with the Dodgers to like fit yourself with a bat?
Yeah, we do bat fittings, and that's it's actually through Marucci, which is the company that made the torpedo bat. So a lot of us were shocked that we hadn't ever heard about the torpedo bat or had access to it before, because we use those guys. They come in, and the way it works is they have all their cameras and the statistical measurements, and they give you different models. They put it on the special scale that they have, and it weighs out, and it's called BPI. It's basically how hard it is to swing the bat. And so they kind of figure out your model based on that. You take 5 to 10 swings with about 40 different bat models, and they figure out, which one's moving through the zone the best, which one are you hitting the ball the hardest with the best, are you having the most consistent contact in the barrel? And we do that pretty much every single year. And for me, my bat has always been the best, and my answer to that has been that's just because I've been swinging it the longest, so I know exactly where the weight is and everything in it. So we do that every year, and a lot of guys have changed bat models because of that.
Hey Max, my guy, this is not for me. This first question this is an AJ question. I was told to say from AJ. I know you guys started off extremely high. Did you guys actually think you were going to go 162-0? This is an
Abs-
AJ question.
Absolutely not. Come on, man. You know, it, you guys know how baseball is. Any given night, you can run into a guy that's got his best stuff, and it's gonna outperform you. And the other night we ran into Jesus Luzardo, and he looked absolutely unbelievable. He was dotting everything. He was 98 with the sinker. I think I saw a couple of 99s up there. He was mixing the slider and changeup well. Any given night, you're gonna run into a guy like that, and it's just baseball. It's pretty much impossible to win every single game.
Hey, Max, I want to ask you too. I want to pick up from there, man. Watching you guys is so much fun, right? From an ex-player, and I just want you to touch on how important it is because you don't see it every day. You've been around. You guys have a group that really truly looks like you guys care about winning and care about each other and want to see each other do well. And we talk about a lot of other things, but we don't talk about that enough. The character and chemistry. How big has that been for you? And a reason why you stayed and probably so when you probably could have went and got, went somewhere else, got the max dollar, but you wanted to stay there and be a Dodger.
Yeah, it kind of means everything to me, and it's something that we've created in the clubhouse. Just the culture with the Dodgers, and that's why it's meant so much to me to be able to stay here. Um, Everybody buys into what we're trying to do, and that's winning the game. It doesn't matter how it gets done as long as you win the game. So, your personal stats have no bearing on it as long as you're doing the job that helps the team win. Because there's certain things that don't show up in the stat category. Did you move a guy over from second to third? Did you possibly, take a little bit off in the bat to try to get a job done? As a pitcher, are you trying to navigate an inning to limit your pitch count, knowing we're short in the bullpen, or just little things like that? And that's kind of the culture we've created, you know, with the Dodgers, and I feel very blessed and honored to have been able to be a part of that for as long as I have. Um, it's just really fun, and when guys come in, they immediately buy into it because they see what we're doing over here, and uh, I think that's what also helps keep the clubhouse how it is, because you're talking about a lot of names that want to be playing every single day, but they also understand we're trying to do anything we can to have our best chance to win and get to October. And guys give up that kind of personal, I want to be doing this as long as we're winning. And so it's to me, it's really cool to see it.
Okay, so you talk about a guy's buying in, and I want to talk about a guy I saw at a young age before anybody knew him, and I thought he had a way of making the game look easy. Can you talk about how special Teoscar Hernandez is? I mean, I don't think people really know how good. You know what I'm saying? You get to watch Teo on a daily basis. Can you just speak on how important he has been for that organization? Clearly, you watch what he did in the playoffs, and even right now with this early success, with all the names that you guys have, it seems like he just quietly shows up every night. Can you just talk about how disgusting he really is?
Yeah, he has very consistent at bats. He has a very simple idea of what he's trying to do in the batter's box, and that allows him to just do a ton of damage. His swing works for what he's trying to do, and he understands that. He understands exactly what he wants to do with every single ball that's thrown, and you see it go out there. He continuously drives balls to the right side of the field. He has a lot of power that way, and that's what allows him, when the mistakes are made, to pull those balls and get the big homers that he does. And he just has consistent at bats night in and night out. And when you can have a guy like that in the middle of the order, it just lengthens the lineup so much. And he's driving in a ton of runs for us already. And at the end of the year, we know what his numbers are going to be. He's a consistent player that it's just another another guy that the other team has to worry about. And yeah, it just makes it tough.
So, Max, we spoke to you in Tokyo. We haven't spoke to you since you got back. What was that like as an experience? And I do want to get the Shohei factor of how beloved he is there, how he's on every billboard there. I was there a few months ago, and I knew I was going to see him. I saw him much more than I thought in sneaky spots. Like, you're in a store, and there's something that's not even like all over the store, just like a little, lip balm here, a little pack of mints there. It was just everywhere, right? It was subtle at times. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, and did any of that obviously spill into this celebration that now has been created on the base paths?
I think you already know the answer to that one. Yeah, yes, it did. We have our hitters meetings every day, and we kind of go over a bunch of stuff. And Cole, the guy who puts together the PowerPoints for our hitters meetings, he kind of snuck in one of his commercials, and I think the brand was Decorte or Decorte. I don't know how you say it, but um, he's swinging the thing across his face and gives a little wink at the end. And so we all had a great laugh at that one. And so we just took it out onto the get on, that night is when he hit the walk-off homer. So we just kind of, carried it on. And that's usually how those types of celebrations start. It's just a little moment that everyone has a laugh at, and you just kind of make fun of it. And then you realize, hey, this is kind of a good thing to do, and you just roll with it. And so that's how those celebrations starts. But as far as the Tokyo series, it was unbelievable. It was really cool, once in a lifetime trip for me. Especially when you're talking about going there with Sho and Yosh and Roki. It was just the seeing all of those guys everywhere the way that they were was it was wild. It was like traveling with the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or something. It was, you know, just crazy. The amount of people that were everywhere that we went. It was really, really cool. I had a lot of fun. Um, I was also ready to come home, but that's because we did the Korea trip last year, and it's just a lot to start your season to make a trip like that. But it was also I'm really glad that we got a chance to do it. It was really fun.
How was Roki received? Because Roki was just there like 3-4 months ago, and I get it. Yamamoto and Otani have done bigger things now because they've been in the big leagues for longer. But how was Roki received during that time?
Yeah, he was received awesome. They love him, and he's going to be an unbelievable pitcher for us. And so just to see him get that reception from his home country, it's always really cool. It's really special to be able to see that. And he obviously Show gets the biggest reception, but those two guys weren't far behind.
All right, so now we got to go to some of your coaches. All right, one of your biggest coaches actually works on this show, and AJ is probably one of the cheaper people that has 60 to 70, maybe billions and millions of dollars of big lucrative deals. But he's going to expect some type of gift because he thinks that you got 3 hits because of him. How much credit do you or don't you give to AJ Pierzynski for the conversation you guys had before the game?
Because it's AJ, I'm gonna give him absolutely zero credit.
Good. But
Yeah,
then,
he comes in the locker room and he's chatting it up, and it's always good to see AJ. And he just makes it seem like it's no big deal. You're not facing anyone that's handled you in the past. It's not a big deal. He's just gonna hang you a curveball. Just stay back on it, put it in play. Oh, it's that simple. All right, yeah. Let me just go out there and do that for you. No big deal. All right.
yeah, so that's kind of what I want to get to. I want you to hear it from AJ's point of view so that we're not taking it out of context, because I think he thinks the game is easy now that he doesn't play anymore. But here's what he said, how the conversation went down.
I was in Philadelphia this weekend. I as a Fox analyst, we get to go in the clubhouses, and Max was in there, and I was talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm kind of struggling." I'm like, "Dude, you're like 3 for 20. I forget what the numbers were, whatever." I'm like, "But if this was in June, nobody would care." He's like, "That's a good point." I'm like, "Max, you've gotten too many hits. You're too good to let this go." And he's like, "You're right. And I'm like, "Oh, you got Nolan. He's going to flip you some curveballs. Just get out in front and clip it out front and hit one down the right field line, and then you go from there." And he's like, da 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 da. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to swing at the curveball. I'm like, well, at some point you're going to have to swing at one. And he's just kind of like, I don't know. But it all started because I wanted to see his torpedo bat, which he had thrown in the garbage because he said it had no hits in it. So I'm like, just, get your torpedo bat out of the garbage, flip one down the right field line, you'll get going. Well, Max Muncy, guess what he does? 3 for 3. I had no idea at the time. He was 1 for 21 off Nola with 11 punchies. I had absolutely no idea because I hadn't read the notes yet. Instead, I felt like an idiot. He went out, went 3 for 3. So, Max, you owe me something for those 3 for 3 when you come on tomorrow, brother.
I don't know if I owe him anything for that, but I'll give him a thank you. But yeah. He comes in just acting like it's a guy that I've hit a lot of balls hard off of, and they just hadn't had any luck. And no, Nola's owned me in the past, and like I said in the post game, he has the best, if not one of the best curveballs in baseball, and he loves to throw it to me. And then you get so worried about it, and that's when he front hips the sinker, and you have no chance to pull the trigger because you're so worried about the curveball. It's just a very, very tough at bat for me. He has a really good idea what he's doing on the mound, and this stuff's really good.
We just talked about, right before you came on, you might have even been logging in when we talked about it. Who has the best curveball in the game? Everyone used to talk about Wainwright's curveball, and before Cam said Glasnow has to have the best, like true 12-6 curveball, would you put Nola's, even though it's different than Glasnow's, over Tyler's, or would you put it maybe second place?
Um, Glass has got a really good curveball, but his is just straight down, and that's what makes it so tough. Is he throws that four seam at the top of the zone, and then the curveball comes out of the exact same plane, and it's bouncing in front of the plate, and so you're swinging at it. And that's why you see a lot of those swings on the balls that aren't even close to the zone on Glasnow's curveball, because it comes out of the exact same plane as his fastball. Nola's is just completely different because like I said, Glass is straight down, whereas Nola's is at least from the left-handed side, it pops out past the shortstop, goes up, comes all the way back in, and then goes down. So there's just so much movement to it. So it's a completely different shape. And so it's almost two different categories to me, just because the shape of it. And some guys just have that curveball. I mean, Sale's another one that's like that. His slider from the left side, it comes at you, goes up, comes out, and still ends up in the other batter's box in the dirt. And so you don't know which one you need to swing at.
Can the traject, which is the pitching machine that has the video and everything, for people who don't know, it simulates the pitches. Can the traject actually simulate those like one of a kind pitches? Because like the Sale one, they'd have to move the whole traject system like behind you to like face it. Or is it not do a good job of actually doing the exact pitch?
So the traject it's really unbelievable. We have one, we use it all the time. And it's hard to describe, but maybe you'll understand what I'm trying to say, that the pitch shape is almost identical, but the way it feels is nowhere close to what it actually is in game. Um, and we always talk about Darvish's curveball or his slider, or whatever he wants to call it. It'll match the shape identical to it, but it just feels way too hard. Versus when you face him in the game, it feels like it hits a brick wall. It has the parachute effect. It just slows down, halfway through the air, and then it keeps slowing down, and it feels like it never gets to you, even though it's 83 miles an hour. Um, there's just no way a pitching machine can ever mimic that feeling of a baseball. And it goes the same for some fastballs too. I mean, you'll know some fastballs just feel like they have that turbo attached to it. So, right before it gets to the home plate, it almost feels like it speeds up on you. It's not just one speed the whole way there.
All right, let's talk about weather since you're on the beautiful East Coast. Cam lives on the East Coast. He's a little softer. He lives down south. But you're Texas and LA for the most part of your life. Do you give any credence to the guys who have to like put on tons of layers, wrap up, and all they got is like just their face or just their eyes? Or are you a Vaseline guy? How do guys deal with it, and how do you deal with it?
Yeah, I was almost there last night, having the hot, the ninja mask on and everything. It was cold last night. Um, the guys that play on the East Coast, they're true grinders in my opinion, because you're talking about possible rain delay almost every single day, and it's cold as all get out in the early part of the season, and then it's hot and humid in the middle part of the season. It's tough to play on the East Coast, and when you're out west for your entire career, those East Coast trips get real tough, and you see it happen real fast with guys that come over to us when you have that East Coast day game where you're waking up at what's essentially 5 o'clock in the morning LA time. You got to get to that day game, and then it's raining and it's cold and it's windy. It's just not stuff that we're used to dealing with, and so it makes it a little challenging. But it is baseball. You got to find a way to get through it. You can't. The other team has to play in the exact same conditions, so you can't really complain about it. Um, it's Yeah, I mean, guys have tons of different ways of doing it. The Vaseline trick, I've always liked that. From when I played in Oakland, Martha Simeon used to tell me about that. You just, rub Vaseline all over you, kind of closes up the pores a little bit so you don't feel the wind. And that one tends to help out a lot. Just rub some Vaseline all over the place.
Hey, one more for you, Max. Are you surprised that some of the newer ballparks in the Midwest and on the East Coast didn't end up getting retractable roofs? I know there's not infinite money on the planet, but I mean, even for recruiting purposes, like Roki, for example, they asked Kodai Senga of the Mets, either why he didn't go there or why they didn't have a better chance. And he joked, but he was like, we need a roof. But I'm like, seriously, I mean, if money's close enough and you're coming from Japan where I think they all have domes, right? Or maybe retractable. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that they have controlled environment out there. I'm like, it's a tough selling point when you're in a lot of these places for a month or two. Winter gets later now, and it's freaking cold for the first month or two of the season.
Yeah, and like you said, the money issue is always going to be there. For me though, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it because that opens up so many more opportunities for you to do stuff, concerts, and you can host basketball games or boxing matches or UFC fights in the wintertime when it's really terrible weather. Well, it's not terrible inside, and so it opens up the opportunity of hosting so many more events, and that allows people to continue to revenue stream into the stadium. And um, that's the one thing I haven't understood is when you build a new stadium, you'd think you'd want keep as many avenues as possible to keep fans coming into the stadium at all times of the year. But I'm also not a huge business person. I don't fully understand the economics behind all of that. That's just me having a look on the outside.
Yep, I'm with you. Well, Max, good catching up. We'll tell AJ whatever you want us to tell him, but for the most part, he doesn't owe you crap. Okay, we're going to say Max doesn't owe you anything. We know that Nola throws curveballs. Thank you very much. How's that?
Yeah, I like that answer. I like that. We'll see where he comes back with that one.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Good luck the rest of this series. Stay warm. We'll catch you in a few weeks, okay?
All right, sounds good, guys.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Max. Max Muncy, Dodger Slugger. We'll be right back. Pop quiz. What do you do if you want high quality shaving products at a low price? Because there's a lot of overpriced shaving products out there in the world. Not to mention body wash, deodorant, etc. You can see that. That's not how you apply it, but you're doing a good job there, Kratz. We don't need you to shave while you're on here. But shout out to Harry's. You can get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover for just $3 at harrys.com/foul.
You need this. You need, anytime you look at a razor and it doesn't have the travel case, it doesn't have the protector on it, it's bad news. You're looking at, that's why I got one of my opportunities in AAA one year. Went with it and ran with it. Somebody reached into their bag, razor cut their finger. Had they had the Harrys, Erik probably would not have gotten his opportunity to play.
No freaking way. Is that true?
True story. Dude reached into his bag and everybody's got their travel bag. One time it was because a dude cut his finger cutting bagels. He was cutting a bagel. Got it. Backup catcher, so I had to go fill in. Another time, reached into his bag. And I mean, think about it. If all these blades are standing up like this and you just catch it as you're coming across, cut his, I think it was his pinky finger. Anyway, it was on his throwing hand. He had to be out. Got an opportunity. I got I want to say 15, 20 at-bats, AAA, when I was stuck in AA that whole time. Yep.
Wow. I did not know that. That's awesome. This took a turn that I did not expect it to take, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Okay. World's best
Everybody get your Harrys now.
All right. Let's show them the board.
Especially.
Exactly. Normally the trial set's $13. Right now you can get it for $3 at harrys.com/foul. Get the edge on your shave with Harry's. That's the exclusive FT link, harrys.com/foul for a $3 trial set. On the topic of money, Andres Jimenez, who's usually kind of shy, he's been on our show quite a bit, was asked about Vladdy Jr. So he told a story about how he would fly to the DR as a team. He'd go through showcases and tryouts with Vladdy Jr. So they go way back. And Keegan Matheson, who covers the Jays, was like, well, is he any different now? He's like, nah, he's the same guy. He's just rich now. It's a good answer. Well played.
You think they went out and got him? Kept Alejandro Kirk as buttering him up? If they were buddies for a long time, just a thought to keep Vladdy
Doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Let's hit some inside edge stats, shall we? Kristian Campbell, you're up first since you got paid in the past week. He's setting the table a lot for the Red Sox when nobody's on base. So here it is. The on-base percentage is at around 57% when the bases are empty. It is early in the season. We get it. But we're looking him up, seeing where he leads in a category. And Cam, that's a good one because when the bases are empty, I care less about slug than I would if there's people on or driving in a runner, obviously, with a runner at third and less than 2 outs, that whole deal. Base is empty. Get someone on base.
Absolutely. Listen, those situations create rallies. At the end of the day, I talk about team at bats. Through him getting on base, I guarantee you he's having some. And if you watch him, he grinds his at bats out. He's not an easy out. He's taking his walks. He's doing everything that you need a leadoff guy to do. So and he has the potential to have a Ricky rally. You talked about your favorite player, Ricky Henderson. He has the ability to make it 1-0 before you know it. So I've said it before. I talked in spring training. I'm a huge Kristian Campbell guy, and he is only going to get better, especially around guys like Alex Bregman.
How do you do this? How do you come up to the big leagues and have such good
Crazy.
plate discipline? It's wild to me. I don't care if you come up at 30 or 22 years old. It's something that I don't know if it's able to be taught, but if it is, and the Red Sox are doing it in the minor leagues, woo, like that's a game changer. Because look at Juan Soto. People will be like, man, he only hit 280 this year. Last year, he only hit this batting average. He's got like a 4-something on base percentage, like mid 400s. Like to me, that's crazy to be able to do. And he's an elite star. To be able to get this from a rookie is huge. And how he does it this early in his career is awesome. And should have held out. Every time he gets on, I say, there's an extra $1 million in your pocket. Should have held out longer.
Hey, he is fifth lowest in the American League in swing rate, right? So he's taking a lot of pitches. He's at 39% on that category. And best in baseball in batting average on fastballs this season. 500.
So
it's 2 weeks, but it's cool.
But those two things tell something huge. He's going to do a lot of damage because, like Kratz said, the league right now is going, okay, young guy, let's see if you can lay off for this one and you can lay off for that one. Oh, well, now he's in a 2-0 count. Now he's in a 2-1 count. Well, we don't want to walk this guy. We don't want to put him on. So have a lot of opportunities to get good pitches to hit. So it's going to be scary, like Kratz said, that he controls the zone like this right now. His numbers, if he can continue to keep that right there, oh my goodness, the sky's the limit for Kristian Campbell.
If I were to tell a young kid to get when he gets called up, what's the one piece or what's the hitting advice that you would give me? I would say, don't miss a single heater. Don't swing at any of the breaking balls. Like if you can train your brain, train your eyes and your body to do that. Look at Max Muncy. Max was talking about it there. He's like, Nola's curveball is pretty tough. If you watch Max's at-bats back, and he's one of the best at staying in the zone, he doesn't chase out of the zone, he won't swing at that curveball until 2 strikes. So if you're Kristian Campbell and that's the recipe for success, best way to not strike out on a splitter, a curveball, the pitches that you see guys getting sorted on and swing and miss on, hit the fastball that he throws right before the curveball he's going to throw. And he's doing that right now. So kudos to him and the hitting coaches that are around him.
2 weeks into the big leagues right now. Kristian Campbell. Pretty cool. All right, we'll swing right back. We'll talk to Ken Rosenthal. Inside Scoop Time coming up next. While we're in break here, we'll do some injuries suck. Here's one. Zach Eflin exited with shoulder fatigue. His manager, Brandon Hyde, said he's going to get more testing done. They are missing Grayson Rodriguez right now. Obviously, Kyle Bradish was a big boy starter for them, but has been out. And missed. He's going to miss a year or whatever. So is he going to come back later this year? I don't know what the update is on him yet. I mean, the point we're getting to here is the starting pitching depth is thin for this team. I'm going to leave this one, okay? Because I'm basically battling certain Orioles fans that are trying to defend what they've done with their rotation. So I've talked about it, I feel like, almost every day. Their rotation looks like shit, and they did not work on it this offseason, and now injuries are appearing, Cam. So what do you think of this Orioles team that could win a World Series if they did what they were supposed to do and grab an ace this offseason?
I think we've all said it, and I think this is the issue that will continue to arise as we watch them for the last 2 seasons put together an extremely competitive group, right? But you can get in trouble holding on to prospects, right? There becomes a time where in the big leagues, veterans do matter. And I know you get these prospects and you want to bring them up. And the transition, the jump from from AAA, AA to the big leagues isn't always that easy. We watched Jackson Holiday last year struggle a little bit. Now he's starting to come into his own, starting to look the part. But, when you have those moments where injuries happen, you need veteran guys that can step into those roles where you don't lose as much. They had the opportunity to possibly use some of those prospects as chips to go out and get some pieces that you still could have control of, a.k.a. Garrett Crochet. He's one of them. But you look at the lack of Lance Lynn, a guy that's out there who eats innings. There were moves to be made that they didn't make, and right now it's, it hasn't. They won last night, but I believe it will come back to bite them in the butt. The one place where I really are okay is when I look at this bullpen. If they can find a way to have a lead going into the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I like the back end guys. So that's the plus right now for the O's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really high on the O's. I think they're going to figure out this pitching issue. I don't love what they did. I don't love that they didn't get Crochet, push harder for Burns, Freed. All those guys were out there, swing and miss for me. With all the prospects that they had, they could have traded for somebody if Dylan Cease was really out there. But to me, I think they'll figure it out.
Homage, Inside Scoop Time with FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. Ken, great work reporting on and writing on the Vladdy Jr. story, which I feel like you've been covering for months now. So what's the aftermath? What are you hearing and what are you seeing?
I don't know that there's much of an aftermath other than the obvious, guys, and it's that the Jays had to get this done. They got it done, and for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he doesn't have to worry about what the first base market might look like in free agency. Now, even though he is a younger guy, entering his age 27 season next year, which will be the first year of this contract, based on what happened to Pete Alonso, based on what's happened with Freddie Freeman, even Matt Olson, in recent years, that market has cratered. And this kind of, in my mind, reestablishes first baseman as valuable in a different way. Now, a lot of this has to do with his age. A lot of his appeal has to do with his age, aside from his, of course, fantastic hitting ability, his ability to control the zone, all of that. But I'm going to be really interested to see what happens with Pete Alonso now. I don't know that much is going to change for Pete Alonso, but at the same time, the mere fact that this number was put up there for a first baseman, maybe we can stop acting like these guys all have cooties, okay?
That's great.
I never thought you got me. Ken said cooties. I believe you. If somebody has cooties, Ken will definitely write about their cooties. So I'm waiting for that article. What about Kyle Tucker? To me, you were talking about Pete Alonso and the first base market, reestablishing that, whether that's going to affect it. Kyle Tucker's only 2 years older, and he's becoming a free agent. Is this good or bad for Ricketts and the Cubs?
Bad for the Cubs, great for Kyle Tucker. And the reason I say it's bad for the Cubs is it's reasonable to think now that Kyle Tucker, who is a superior all-around player to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I don't know that anyone would question that, is going to get probably an AAV starting with a 40 million or above. And while his deal likely will be shorter because he's older than Vlad by 2 years, as you said, as I wrote the other day, What if it's 12 years times 42? That's 504. That's the kind of deal he could be looking at minimum in free agency. I would expect that he's going to do really well. And each contract in free agency or even in an extension form like this one is, it enables players to build on. And that's what happened with Guerrero Jr. He wasn't getting $500 million until Juan Soto got $765. And that's how free agency has worked forever. That is how the players want it to work. And you cannot ignore what goes on in the market, either through extensions or free agency, when you have another player coming into that situation. Now, here's Kyle Tucker. The Cubs are going to have to deal with this one way or the other, and my guess is they're not going to be at the level that other teams will be for Tucker.
Hey, Ken, listen, I know Kyle Tucker is going to be on the phone like Jerry Maguire with his representatives, but I want to talk about a guy that nobody's asking about. What does this mean for Bo Bichette now that this deal is done? Where are, this can't be the end all to be all if you're a Blue Jays fan. I know they're happy they finally got their guy, but there's still work to be done. And when you look at an offense that's starting to be somewhat on the decline, certain guys in that lineup, what does this mean for Bo?
Cam, great question. And the reason it's a great question is because this move signals clearly that the Jays intend to compete. Now, they've never indicated anything otherwise. And in fact, they competed this year, or decided to compete this year, even with Bichette and Guerrero going into their walk years. It was a strategy that I thought was kind of ill-conceived, because to me, you could have traded those guys, retooled on the fly. But look, they got their man now in Guerrero, and why wouldn't they go for Bo Bichette as well? Now, the relationship between the player and team might be different. Clearly, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was special to the Blue Jays because he was born in Canada, because he was homegrown, as was Bichette, of course. And it was a little bit different with him. But at the same time, if you want to build around two guys, those are two pretty good guys to build around, and Bo Bichette is a shortstop. And the other thing with Bichette that's interesting to me, you look around the league, guys, there aren't many teams that figure to have openings at shortstop. Now, sometimes teams will create openings to get a better player. Sometimes a player like Bo Bichette could change positions, like we thought Alex Bregman might in free agency. But that could influence him as he looks at the market. If the Jays came at him with a big extension right now, in my mind, he'd have to look at it. But there's been no indication that that is taking place. It's going to be really interesting to see where the Jays go from here. Because if you look at it, Vlad's locked up, Santander for a few years, Andres Jimenez for a few years. Their pitching is getting a little bit older, but Barrios is still there. They still have a nice core here to build around. Their farm system isn't very good. So it seems to me they're going to have to continue spending to be the team that they want to be.
You may not know this, or you may. Do they believe that Bo Bichette is that cornerstone guy? Because that's kind of where I'm kind of led to believe is like, well, do they actually think he's their guy along with Vladdy, or is there somebody else out there they might think that's the guy we're eyeing? I don't know if you know. I'm just curious.
I don't know, but certainly in their approach to negotiations, we have not heard much about a Bichette extension. We just haven't. And I don't know that there's been much talk about a Bichette extension. So that would lead me to believe, Cam, that they don't see it maybe the way others might see it. Now, perhaps the reason they haven't focused on Bichette is because they've been so focused on Guerrero Jr. That would make sense. Again, we'll find out exactly how much they value the player. This is what happens, right? For a while there, I wasn't so certain they valued Vladimir Guerrero Jr. the way they should have. I'm still not sure everyone in their front office values him in that way. I would imagine there was somewhat of a mixed camp about doing this. But Bichette is a separate case entirely. They'll have to look at him differently. They have some internal options that they can do to account for his loss. They can move Jimenez to shortstop, back to shortstop. But I don't know that they want to do that. You are a stronger team with Bichette at short, Jimenez at second.
Are the Phillies overlooked? You were there this weekend. You didn't call me to have coffee, or I don't drink coffee, or like a steak or like a chicken burger or something, but you were in Philly and watched this team through some weather playing the favorites to win the World Series again. Are they overlooked as a team?
I don't know that they're overlooked, Erik, and I apologize for not calling you, by the way. But at the same time, we talk so much about the Dodgers, so much about the Mets, and rightly so. The Dodgers did some incredible things again this offseason. The Mets, they signed Juan Soto. But the Phillies still have a consistent, strong core. And it's a group that's getting older, admittedly. But at the same time, they're really good. There's no question they're really good. And what is really interesting about them right now is that if Jesus Luzardo is as good as he has shown early and can stay healthy, then a rotation we already thought was really good is that much better, and it becomes a really intriguing thought for October. Could they run through October behind Wheeler and Nola and Christopher Sanchez and of course Luzardo, and then maybe Ranger Suarez? The Phillies will have an interesting mix if, again, most of those pitchers are healthy. And offensively, they've been a little bit better this year, at least compared to at times last year. Less chase, doing some things maybe a little bit differently. So I don't know that they're overlooked, but they're really good. And would it shock me to see them in the World Series? No, it would not.
That's what this team's built for. But let's go across the other side of the state where I'm not at. So if you ever go to a Pirates game, you probably won't because Fox doesn't do Pirates games. But anyway, if you go over there, do you feel like the Pirates ownership, sales department, whoever takes the blame for selling a sign that covers up the Clemente sign, do you feel like it was actually an oversight like they said, or do you feel like it was something that was an opportunity for a money grab?
Maybe everything that you just said. And yes, they clearly wanted to sell that portion of the outfield fence. And obviously it was an oversight that they didn't account for the fact that that was the spot they reserved for Roberto Clemente. Now, some fans pointed out in the aftermath of this, well, they corrected it, and they did. What I would like to know is how this even happened in the first place, because when you take down that tribute to Clemente and you put up an ad, clearly someone knows that ad is going in the place where we were honoring Roberto. And no one said, what are we doing here? No one paused. No one kind of raised a red flag. That would be my concern there. And we all make mistakes. I get it. And things happen, and they did correct it. But it just speaks to an organization that on and off the field cannot seem to get out of its own way.
Hey, I want to hop to the San Francisco Giants, Ken. We haven't spoken about them in a moment. What do you think of their hot start? We know it's very, very early on. They got shut down by Hunter Greene yesterday, but already you can cue the Buster Posey effect, which I talked yesterday about the possibility of that making a difference even with the on-field product, despite it not having that many player differences from last year. But what do you think from what you've seen so far?
I spoke about this on FoulTerritory yesterday a little bit, and it's going to be a really easy narrative for us to say, Farhan Zaidi's gone, Buster Posey's here, the players feel liberated, it's back to baseball. And to some degree, that is true. I do expect that even the players would acknowledge, yeah, it's a different vibe in the organization right now, a different culture, and in their minds, a better culture. It's not all of it. Willie Adames, even though he's not hitting yet, is part of this, right? Jung-Hoo Lee, who barely played last year, is part of this. Matt Chapman being there in his second year with the Giants, a fixture, off to a good start, that's a part. Justin Verlander, even though he has not pitched particularly well so far, that's part of it. Robbie Ray adding a changeup. All of these things are happening besides the changeover from Zaidi to Posey. Now, Posey did, of course, play an instrumental role in signing Adames, so he gets credit for that. But I want to see it play out more. They have been quite interesting so far. I like their rotation. The back end of their bullpen looks like it's going to be pretty good, Doval and Walker. So it's intriguing to see where they are right now. But yes, we do need to see more.
Yep, I'm with you. Yeah, we're a couple weeks in. We're going to do power rankings later, Ken. You can slide out of here before that to avoid what should be, a lot of fun and a lot of fan love and hate. So, Ken, thank you for the time. We'll catch you on Thursday on FoulTerritory.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. That is your Homage Inside Scoop. You can visit homage.com/FoulTerritory to get hooked up with one of those starter jackets. If you don't see your favorite team on the screen, guess what? Your favorite team, if it's one of the 30, is on there. So get after it, FT fam. You can use the code FoulTerritory for 20% off for all first-time Homage shoppers when you use that code. Be right back. All right, we're back. Let's go over an injury. Spencer Arrighetti, part of that Astros rotation, looks like he's going to miss significant time because he broke his thumb and it's on his pitching hand. Line drive, playing catch yesterday in Seattle, Astros Mariners series, Cam, during BP. There are actually accidents all the time in situations like this where I look around. How many times have you seen this, right? Because you guys were on the field every day. Oh, that almost got him.
Oh,
Right? Like all the time with baseballs. I mean, I would get that. I'm on the field reporting and you would just look and you're like, oh, the fan almost got smoked, or oh, that player out there playing catch almost got smoked. It happens a lot. And then, of course, you have this situation where he's going to miss, I would say, probably a month or two with something like this.
and a much needed arm when you talk about Spencer Arrighetti and how good he's been and the glimpses of dominance that he's been able to show. But man, it gave me goosebumps how many times you've been in the cage or been behind the turtle as guys are hitting BP, and not, no offense to my pitchers, but they're usually talking ball, usually trying to figure out how to get better and hold that grip. But those are the guys that are usually not paying attention. Those are the guys that usually get caught sleeping out there, and unfortunately, I've seen guys get hit. I've seen position players get hit as well, but. Yeah, man, this is definitely a bummer, especially when you talk about a guy not getting hurt, actually competing. So this is a big one for the Astros.
It's so tough to actually get hit by something. Only one ball is hit during BP at a time. Pitchers throw and they're like, can you have somebody stand and watch for me? Like, unless your back is too, let's say you're in left field and you're a right-hander, and you're throwing down the line farther, I get it. But how tough is it to go, he hit? Okay. Come set, make the pitch, watch again. Okay, get the ball back. Guys are like, I don't want to be bothered with that. That's tough, especially when something like this happens. I bet every Astro pitcher is going to have somebody watching them. You can't have 9 guys lined up on the line and one bullpen catcher that's like, I got you guys. No chance. The ball's getting rocketed out there. The low chance the ball's actually going to hit you. All you have to do is move. It sucks that he couldn't see it coming. So tough.
Or don't move, Kratzy. You know what they used to say? If you don't move, it won't hit you.
That's fair. You're not wrong.
It is power rankings time. Cam is getting involved for the first time. So, Cam, I usually go last, but Kratz will lead off so you can see how he brings it and where he points out something that might get questioned. He'll run through his 1 through 10. Then we'll get your thoughts after that. And we like to make fun of each other after we lay out our 1 through 10. Like, where was this team? Kratz, you go first.
All right. Because AJ's not here, we can enjoy our power rankings. He hates power rankings, so we can enjoy them today. My power rankings go as they have the whole year. It's going to take a lot to take out of the top 2. I go Dodgers, Phillies, and now I got the American League, which I didn't have the American League before the top 5 last time. I'm going Orioles just because I love to see Scott squirm. I think this team's going to do awesome stuff, and I'm buying that Gunnar Henderson's back since the last time we did this. Rangers might be the best team in the American League. I just couldn't put them 3rd yet, so that's fine. Yankees have done nothing but beat the teams that they've played. The D-backs are probably the worst record of those top 8 teams, I think. I just think that the Ketel Marte injury might come back to bite me, having them in the top 6, but I'm fine with it. The Red Sox have proven, and they weren't in my top 10 before, they've proven that they should be because they can swing it. They still can't pitch. The Padres have somehow captured my imagination right now because this offense just absolutely smacks the ball. But what I love is they're running the bases. The Mets, because there's a whole group of Mets fans on Twitter, they have to stay in my top 10 or they will burn my Twitter account down. And the one defensive team that I have in the top 10 now because they play some elite defense is the Giants. Everybody else on here is pitch, hit, elite, MVP. I don't think the Giants have an MVP candidate on their team, and yet they all pick it. They got gold or possibility of gold everywhere around there, and they're fun to watch. You can't not put a now 8-2 team in your top 10 going 10 games into the season.
Most cool, Cam. I think he's a psycho for putting the Orioles that high. Everybody looks at power rankings a little bit differently, right? You're not going just off the record you see right now. You're going on some recency bias, but not too much. You got to take a grain of salt. But they're 5-6, and their starting rotation is kind of in shambles. You think they're a top 3 team for power rankings? Cam, do you want to pile on with me?
No, I'm just like you said. People look at power rankings differently, and it makes me want to say that was kind of lazy of EK. Like, no, where are we right now? 11 games in. Like, I get if we were going back and talking about beginning of the season, but right now, 11 games in, I love EK. I just feel like this was a little lazy. I feel like it was a little lazy.
I mean,
but the Dodgers,
okay, Cam.
I mean, should I put the Dodgers farther because they're third in their division? Should I put them behind the Padres? And if we're going 10 games in, is that how we're doing it now?
Eric, they're 9-3. The Orioles are 5-6.
They're third place. Third place team, Scott.
They split a series with the Blue Jays, the Orioles. They lost a series to the Red Sox. They lost a series to the Royals. They haven't won a series yet. So did you have them in your top 3 before the season started? Like, what vaulted them in the last 2 weeks?
The Braves and the Diamondbacks jumped out, so it just slid up in the bracket.
Okay. All good. Can't wait to see them in the World Series. Game 1 is
Grayson Rodriguez.
True. Hope so.
Game 2. And then the Mariners are out of it, and it'll be Brian Wu in Game 2.
Ooh, okay. Now we're talking. Then I would vault them up the power rankings. All right, Cam, you're up.
Look, let's just pull it up. Let's just pull it up. Let's lay it out. Cam's power rankings right here. Unlike Kratz, I'm gonna go from 10 down to 1. I've got the Diamondbacks right there. We covered them the other night, Scotty and I. One thing that I still like, even with the Ketel Marte, and the offense hasn't got to where they're gonna go, and they still find a way to manufacture runs. When I look at the starting rotation, I still like the rotation. I know there are some question marks for me in the bullpen, but I had to bump the O's out of 10 because I still like the D-backs' ability to find a way to score runs and win. The Angels, I've got to give the Angels some love right now. I don't know if it's the cell phones, if they're still sticking to it, but right now they are athletic. Mike Trout is healthy. They have one of the better catchers in the game that I think nobody knew about because he was hurt last year, and Logan O'Hoppe. And they have the best backup catcher in baseball in Darno. And then you look at the athletes around the field. I like what they've done. And then you talk about the rotation. They have a veteran rotation. They have some veteran guys in the back. The law firm of Jensen and Joyce is as nasty as they get right now. So I've got the Angels right there. The Giants, they deserve to be right there because they started off as hot as they were. It took Hunter Greene to kind of slow them down. I like what they've done as well. My Tigers, they do a little bit of everything well, right? They're the complete team, and they also have maybe the smartest guy at the helm calling the plays or putting on the hit and runs or managing the bullpen, AJ Hinch. So I love my Tigers right there. I'm with Kratzy. The Mets have to stay right there because, the Mets fan base right now, they are rabid. They believe. And again, last night was fun to watch. They still have something, a mystique about that lineup that I like. The pitching is still somewhat of a question mark. I have the Mets there. Then the Cubs. The Cubs started out slow, and I was sitting here. I was one of those people questioning, what does their identity look like? Well, I'll tell you what their identity is. It's Kyle Tucker. When he goes, the Cubs go. Everything seems to be falling into place when this guy is locked in. And I think looking at that Vladdy deal, he is locked in right now. He is going, show me the money. So I've got the Cubs right there. The Padres, I think the NL West might be the best division in baseball, or you can argue it. The Padres, I think they still have a formidable rotation. We've seen what the back end of their bullpen looks like when you give them a lead. Fernando Tatis is proven, even with the past PED stuff, he's still one of the best players in our game. And then the Yankees. The Yankees, I love what they're doing right now. I love the dynamic. I love the veteran guys that they brought in. I like Goldschmidt, Jazz. They got the torpedo bats going. They've got the internet in a frenzy. We know the starting rotation it's a coin flip right now. It's a coin flip. It's a toss-up, but I like the Yankees. And then the Phillies and the Dodgers, they speak for themselves. I had the Phillies first, but when I look at it, the Phillies kind of always do this, right? They win during the regular season, but when it matters, the Dodgers are still the bee's knees. So that is what a power ranking should look like, boys.
I love it. I love it. Cam, you're a great person, and you make a great power ranking. I think your opinions are mattered and valid. Great job, Cam.
You sound like my
Except-
wife. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Except
I know.
you have the Angels as
when they
a
don't
9
mean
team. Yeah, Angels in the 9 spot right now, Cam, and
right
they're off
now,
to a nice
listen,
start.
I'm only going again, like you said, everybody looks at power rankings differently. I'm looking at these first 11 games. I'm not looking at the projections preseason. I'm looking at where we are right now. Listen, they've won every series. I know it's the White Sox. They beat the Guardians. We all believe in the Guardians, and they beat St. Louis. So until they go backwards right now and they continue to play for Ron Washington, that's where they deserve to be in my power rankings as of today. I don't know where they might be 2 weeks from now. That could drastically change. But as of today, that's how I'm looking at power rankings.
I guess the difference for me,
not the rosters,
yeah.
not the personnel. I'm looking at who's been performing right now.
Well, it's
I'm
not
looking at the
standings.
name.
It's power rankings.
Right, I get it. Right now, they're in my power rankings. Are they winning series? They've won 3 series in a row.
He also thinks Kyron Paris is going to. He thinks Kyron Paris is going to win a batting title too, so that's why he's and I think Cam he's pining for a job on that staff, seeing if EY is going to let him get a job or not.
I'm East Coast guy.
Excuse me, I have a question. I just want to ask again something about the Angels. It's less hate on the Angels, just like, do they deserve to be in the top 10 yet? You know, and yes, I go more off projections still mixed in with what things are looking like right now. I mean, Fangraphs, including the current record, has them projected to be a 77-win team. I'll keep it real simple on my Angels question. Why the Angels and not the Rangers, who are 8-3, and I don't see on this list?
Yeah, and you know what? That is where I dropped the ball. Now that I look at my list, I probably and I still honestly, what I would do is I'll probably still bump the D-backs out, and I would still leave the Angels at 10. And I would still probably put the Rangers in the top 5 right now. Now that I look at it, players mess up, but still, I like what the Angels are doing now. I'm giving them credit for what they are doing in these first 11.
Okay.
Great catcher, Mike Trout, Kenley Jansen, Joyce, Neto. I mean, listen, I like the moves they made. I like them. Now that I'm watching it kind of come to fruition, we don't know how long those guys will be out there on the field, right? Longevity has been tough for the Angels. But right now, you don't like, hey, who's better than No Hoppy? Where is he on your top catchers in the game right now, healthy? I like him too. You know, I like.
Oh, for Kratz, I'm sure Kratz, he's pushing top 5 these days.
He's probably out of my top 5. I was going through it. He's probably out of my top 5. He's got a lot of potential, definitely potential, but to me, you got to accumulate some stuff behind the dish. 4 homers in 4 days, it's a good hot start. I think knowing him as a person helps me get him closer to the top 5. But I mean, it's I'd have to break it all down. He's right there. I don't think I can put him in the top 5 right now. But let me get back to you on that.
That's fine. We'll do those lists a different day. Let's queue up mine here. I was stewing this morning, working on it. So we're going to start with the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Padres. I was the high guy on the Padres entering the season, so I'm going to push them up a few spots. I had them firmly in my top 10 to start the year. The hot start. I'm buying into the pitching, starting, bullpen. Obviously, the stars look like stars. Jackson Merrill looks like he's going to be the guy from last year, so I'll put them in the 3 spot here. Some of you might look at this later on and comment, well, the Phillies just beat the Dodgers in a series. Okay. Again, I'm not going off one series here. Relax. The Dodgers won the World Series. We're 2 weeks into the season. Mets look pretty good. Kodai Senga had a really nice outing yesterday. I get it. It was the Marlins. Tyler McGill looks like he's bringing what he had last year. They've got some starters out right now, but they're off to a nice start. The Mets are 7-3. I got to get a 5-6 team in there because Kratz said so. I'm not going to go with 2 5-6 teams, but I will take the Diamondbacks at the 5 spot. There's nothing I'm looking at right now telling me that they're not going to be a version of last year's team plus Corbin Burns. I know Ketel Marte's out for a little bit. Corbin Carroll's back. Offense looks really good. Detroit, 6-4. Got swept to start the season by a hot Dodgers team. I really like the Tigers. If Torkelson's back and Casey Mize finally has his breakout season, sign me up. Texas, 8-3, looking good. Injuries, I would say, scarier on their side than most other teams. DeGrom, obviously Young's already out, but I really like them. Yankees at 6-4. Offense is off to a really nice start. They're the Torpedo Boys, Jazz, Volpe, etc. Even Trent Grisham. I have them right over Boston, 6-5. This is my first time putting them in the top 10 here in 2025 because the offense looks legit. Wilyer Brady looks insane. Devers is already back. I'm worried about the back half of the bullpen. Yanks have a better bullpen right now. Atlanta's still in there for me. I'm not just going to kick them completely out of my top 10 because they're off to a slow start and Lopez is out. Strider sounds like he could be back in the next week or two. Acuna Jr. is going to be back in 3 to 4 weeks. And I still think this team is going to level out. So there's my top 10. Cam, make fun of it since Kratz is too nice.
You know what? I the only one I kind of question is the Braves move. But they do still have so many weapons in that lineup. The only thing that worries me, I think that the X factor for me is Olsen. I think, we've seen a Matt Olsen in Oakland where it was feast or famine. Like, we've seen the ups and downs and, so I think he's the X factor for me and their pitching staff. I don't see it. Like, if a team that has the Braves on that, on the schedule, I'm running to the back rack. Like nobody scares me right now in that rotation.
What?
Except for
Stop
Chris
it.
Sale. Except for
oh, really?
Chris Sale
really?
Scares me.
Spencer Schwellenbach, that's an easy AB.
Listen, I'm just telling you, like you might not see him. I just
You just said Sale. Okay, Sale is this Cy Young winner.
I don't know. Like
Schwellenbach looks like another set.
The bullpen doesn't scare me either. Like I don't know. I don't see it. I don't know. I like Washington over the Braves right now.
I think AJ Smith-Shawver is going to break out too. Yes. Oh, who you calling?
Oh no, Buster called me. Buster Posey called me and said, I put together a baseball team. I thought Scott was a big baseball fan. I put together, what did you say? Oh, I put together a good baseball team, not an analytic darling, and you don't want to put me in your top 10. All right, Scott, well, what'd you? Oh, but you said he's got nice biceps. Okay, I'll tell him, Buster. Thank you.
Yeah, no, wait, hold on. Just text him, say it's called, it's a website. It's new. It's called toosoon.com. 8-2. Relax, Buster. Toosoon.com.
Sorry,
Next power rankings if you're still in this spot.
I thought you were a baseball fan. I thought you were old school, Scott. I thought you were old school, but you're not. It's okay.
I'm not. I'm mid school.
I know what it takes to win, but don't worry about it.
The Braves are projected to win 88 games despite the slow start. Clearly, I'm already the high guy on the Braves. I don't think this is a bad team. Tell me where I missed. So you think that I should have the Braves out and the Giants in? You think the Giants are a better team this year than the Braves? Because I don't.
I don't know if you missed. I don't know if you actually missed. I just think I don't know if the Mets are 4 for me. I think that I like the lineup. The Mets lineup. Pete Alonso looks. I don't know. The D-backs at 5 is a little tough for me. I think the Tiger. I like the Tiger. I like the Rangers. I missed the Rangers in my rankings, but you're right. You sold me on the Rangers. I just think it's the order. I think these teams are everybody but the Braves is okay. I don't think the Braves should be in the top. I don't think they deserve today to be in the top 10. So that's it. But I don't mind the teams that you have in it though. I don't at all.
Padres pitching starting rotation. Are they better than the Braves starting rotation?
It's close.
I think so.
And so they're 7 spots better because their bullpen is light years ahead of a lot of teams in the big leagues.
Yes, their bullpen is better than the Braves bullpen.
Everybody.
And right now their lineup is better than the Braves lineup. So
yes,
but is it better? You're talking about the projection of the Braves. You're still high on them. Is their lineup better than the Braves lineup? Is the Padres lineup better than the Braves lineup?
Right now, yes.
Well, you didn't say right now. You said you're projecting the Braves to still be good. That's why you have them in the top 10. I said it's a mix.
I take the first couple weeks into effect. I take projections into effect. I take track record of players into effect when we're 2 weeks into the season. So
who do you think will end up better, Braves or the Padres this year?
Padres. I mean, we went into the year thinking Phillies, Mets, and Braves in the East. Something in the Central. Cubs, Brewers, some said Reds. Okay, nothing's changed there for me. I got one team there. And then out West, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres, Giants, at least for this first couple weeks, are making some noise. I don't feel like a lot that I've looked at yet has convinced me of anything, right? Like even the Braves, slow start for the offense, terrible with runners in scoring position. Do we really think that's going to last the entire year? That's like the easiest stat usually to look at and see that it's going to level out when there are players with good track records. Isn't it?
I agree.
Do you know which team has crushed it in that category? The Giants. It's going to level out a little bit.
Okay, let me ask you this. Who do you think has a better rotation, the Giants or the Braves?
Braves.
You think the Braves have a better rotation than Logan Webb, than Jordan Hicks, than Robbie Ray, even with Verlander? You think that's a better starting rotation?
For sure the top 3, right? Sale, Schwellenbach. Also, Strider's coming back very soon. Yeah. That 3 is TJ. Definitely much better than San Francisco. No, he didn't have TJ. He had internal brace surgery. It was
yes, he did. Excuse me.
Elbow surgery.
Internal brace. Yes, no, it matters. It matters. They come back better, faster. So internal brace. Excuse me.
Do you think the Giants have a better rotation than the Braves?
I do. I watched Jordan Hicks the other night, bro. I'm trying not to curse. That stuff he's throwing up there is gross, dog. I mean, it is nasty. Like, he has no hitter type stuff. Logan Webb, we saw what he continues to do. Robbie Ray is now a year removed after injury. I still like Robbie Ray. I'm still banking on Verlander. If Kyle Henderson, Verlander is a good 4 or 5. I'm just saying, like that. If Verlander's going against the Braves 4 or 5, I like the Giants on top of those other 3 guys I named. Even with the reigning Cy Young Award winner.
Right, but Webb, Ray, Hicks.
I think
right. That's your top 3.
I like those top 3 right there. And Verlander is your 4. I like that better than the Braves 4.
I'll take Strider, Schwellenbach, Sale, and Smith-Shawver. Kratz.
Today? Or you mean like projecting, right? We're projecting.
Even if I call Spencer Strider right now and say, we need you to pitch today, I think I'm still taking him over everyone else on this list right now. I think he is going to be back and normal pretty much right away with kid gloves. They're going to have to watch him, right? Hey, the Braves have a problem right now. Their 5th starter, Bryce Elder, has never been the same since he had that big first half a couple years ago. But this is where you're going to replace that. For me, Grant Holmes, a 5, cool. I'm good with that. Sale, Schwellenbach, Strider, Smith-Shawver. It's a good list. I'm just the high guy on the Braves.
I got it.
Kratz, for me, losing Lopez, losing Profar for half the year, plus he's not going to be eligible for the playoffs because he did roids or did PEDs, whatever. that hurts them. I put them below the Mets and the Phillies, and now it's going to be easier. They're going to have to play catch up the whole year, but they still have stars. Acuna's coming back. Strider's coming back. When I look at certain
You remember
power
how long?
rankings, I just don't want them to get kicked out
Acuna,
so quickly.
It took Acuna almost 2 years to come back to like.
Mhm.
So I get it, but I'm also like, is he gonna be the Acuna that stole 70, or is he gonna be the Acuna probably the year before, who's still kind of filling it out? He's not gonna be running as much, probably not gonna score as many runs. I'm just saying, I get it, but we talking about two guys coming off an injury, so I got to see it first before I say they're better than the guys that are healthy right now.
Okay. Do you guys think that both will be good this year, recover and be stars? Strider and Acuna? I do.
From everything I'm hearing from Strider, it sounds like he is definitely on pace. I'm not sure about the update. I haven't really heard too many updates on where Ronald is. I don't really know where he is. How's he looking? But Spencer sounds like he is right on track.
Quick here, and then we're gonna break and talk Cubs and Kyle Tucker and all of that. Kratz, I actually think that Acuna would be back quicker. You know, it sounds like he's ready to hit now in the big leagues. He's not going to just DH. They want him to be back full strength outfield, right? If they didn't have Marcell Ozuna clogging up the DH spot, and he's been great. He's been off to a nice start for them. Do you think that in this scenario, they would have brought Ronald back a little bit sooner to start swinging the bat for them?
I don't know. I don't know, because I know their biggest hurdle that they wanted to get over was the sprints on back-to-back days. And once you bring a guy up and he's on your roster, you're not sitting Ronald Acuna. Yes, it's going to extend it a few, 2-3 weeks maybe, because they have to have him in the outfield. But I don't think I don't know. I don't know if they would have brought him up already. I don't think organizations, as much as fans might want them to, make gross adjustments just because a team started 0-6, 0-7. They start out poorly. You're gonna make a rash move and bring an injured player up, because it's not the World Series. Like when they brought Kyle Schwarber back for the Cubs, you don't have those like worked in days off. To me, when you bring a guy back like Ronald Acuna Jr., he's ready to play 5 out of 6 days. And I think that's where they'll still take the time, even if they didn't have Marcell. Like, I still think you're going to take that time to make sure he's fully 100% ready.
Yep. All right. I'll conclude with this because I'm looking back at some people in the chat. Agree to disagree. If you want standings, we can literally just show the standings. Power rankings are not the standings.
Yep.
Do we all agree on that?
Agree.
Totally.
Okay. Just making sure. Because I was told that I can't really use projections, really. So I can't look at track record of players, which is what projections do, and say this team's going to be okay. And I still like what I see on paper and even what I see on the field. Pretty sure I can do that. It's not standings.
You can do whatever you want, Scotty.
Thank you. I still like my gutter rankings idea where we look at the bottom 5 or the bottom 10. So we'll do that maybe at some point. We'll give it a little bit of time. Kratz doesn't like that. He's too positive. All right, we'll be right back. We'll talk about the Cubs off to a nice start, 8-5. And Kyle Tucker just made himself another $150 million just by watching the Vladdy Jr. news. Monday locks. Let's do this. We're looking back. BetMGM, KC money line for me just to get back on the board with a dub. I'm going to pick on the Twins a lot this year. I'm going to fade them a lot. Pittsburgh picks up a dub for Papelbon yesterday. Kratz, you didn't get your over with the O's and D-backs. 2 good offenses.
Yeah, that's okay.
Do you want to try and recover today?
I mean, I always want to try to recover. My issue yesterday, I hemmed and hawed. I went San Francisco under because 2 offenses that were struggling and 2 elite pitchers, and they went, that would have been no sweat, 2-0 under. But you only get to pick one. So today, I'm going Sonny Gray over 6.5 punchies. His last 2 times against the Pirates, which is pretty similar lineup. He had 8 and 9, and I think his last time out, he went 9 punchies. 6.5 feels like a pretty good number for me. I think it was at minus 118, so I'm going to put 118 down to win 100.
Boom. There you go. We'll do the other two, Cam, you and me, at the next break. We'll get ready for Sahadev Sharma coming up next. If you have any questions, I know there's a few Cubs fans in the chat right now that have something. So Sahadev is covering the Cubs for years now for The Athletic and host of Northside Territory. Awesome show. Check it out. If you're on YouTube right now, give him a little sub. It's Sahadev, Patrick Mooney, and they bring on many other guests as well. So we'll get to Sahadev Sharma in about 40 seconds. Sahadev Sharma is here, host of Northside Territory. Everything you need to know about the Cubs is there and in The Athletic, where he writes. He hosts Northside along with Patrick Mooney. Give it a check out right now. Pod, YouTube, etc. Cam, you're making me dizzy, but I like it. That AI camera's on fire. Anyway, Sahadev, let's start with Kyle Tucker. Off to a really good start with the Cubs. No surprise there. How much richer did he get yesterday or the day before with the news that Vladdy Jr. signed for $500 million, no deferrals?
Yeah, I mean he's rich either way, right? He's going to be a very rich man as long as he stays healthy and has the type of season that he's already having and continues has had over the years. I think the question for me that I keep wondering is it's not going to be as many years as guys like Soto and Vlad get, right? Because they're just younger, and he's this all around player that they're not. He's a great defender, he's a great base runner, and he brings. I'm not sure if you could say he brings Juan Soto offense, but if he's a step below that in the Vlad tier, I mean that's a hugely valuable player. So are we talking pushing $40 million a year at 10 years? He probably doesn't get the 14, 15-year deal, right? I think he probably doesn't get the years, but he probably gets a little bit more AAV. I wonder what the market is. He's the clear best player on the market. Who wants him? Who's in on him? I think that's what I'm curious about, because are the Mets going to be aggressive again after just being aggressive for Soto? Do the Dodgers need more talent? I guess you can always get more talent, but if those two teams aren't in on him, then it gets very interesting in my opinion. The Cubs will certainly be in the conversation. I'd be surprised if they're the ones that win out, but that's just I usually take that lane in general with free agency, because the bet is usually like there's so many other teams that he can end up with, right? So it's just safe to say, yeah, he probably doesn't end up back with the Cubs, but you never know. You fall in love with Wrigley, you really enjoy your time. Maybe it's like if you match all offers, he comes back type situation.
Wait. This is the Cubs. The Cubs have ridiculous amounts of cash. They have the third highest, I think, valuation, revenue. And yet they have the 12th. Yeah. Yes, third highest revenue. Thank you. And yet the 12th in payroll. Yeah. He is not a free agent. Cubs fans need to bang down the doors as they're coming into Wrigley saying, Kyle Tucker's not a free agent. We do not have to lose him to free agency, because I think I'm on board with you. You lose him to free agency if he gets there. I think that's the history of what happens. They traded away players to get Kyle Tucker. It's okay if you go ahead and extend this man right away. Think about what the Red Sox just did with Garrett Crochet. Think about what the Dodgers did with Mookie Betts. They never let those guys get to free agency. He's not a free agent. Don't. To me, Ricketts needs to say, I'm not letting this one get away. I'll give him the money, a little bit less years, but a little bit more AAV, like you just said, than Vladdy got.
I don't disagree. I don't know. He doesn't sound like someone that's like super, that's like desperate to sign an extension, right? He doesn't know Chicago yet. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't enjoy playing for the Cubs. The fans already love him. He's going to get love from them all season long. He's not someone that feeds off of that as much. It doesn't seem. My understanding about who he is, he's a pretty soft-spoken guy, just loves to play baseball. He's just that's what he wants to do. He wants to come to the ballpark, put up numbers, and win. I agree that they should do everything they can to extend him. I think it just gets back to what you're talking about. They're 12th in payroll. It depends what you're looking at. Anywhere from 10th to 14th are different numbers. Different places have different numbers. They're not up there where they should be, right? What you think the Chicago Cubs should be. So the question becomes, okay, you hand out this huge, say they do extend him and they give him, let's just throw out 410, right? 10 years, 400 million. You have 40 million to one player. I think he's worth it, right? In today's game, in today's market, that's how it works. There's so many questions that the Cubs have as well, because if Jed Hoyer is handing out that contract and they don't make the playoffs this year, that's probably on a new team president or GM's docket. Then there's a CBA coming up, that could change financial situations for everyone. We don't know what that's going to look like. I think these are their questions. And ultimately, what is the Cubs payroll going to be? If you're handing out 40 million to one player, you better have something in the 260 range, right? You want to be super aggressive. That's how it kind of works. If you're sitting at 210 like they are currently and you're handing 40 to one player, that really hamstrings how you go supplement around that player. Yes, he's a great player. He does, in this market, he deserves that type of money. But you need a full team around him, and they have to consider how where their payroll is going to be. That's what baseball ops needs to think about. And if they're going to be sitting at 210 every year, that makes things a lot harder.
I went from being extremely optimistic about Kyle Tucker, Cubs, they're going to get their guy, and then you I'm convinced you're right. It's not going to happen. I know you didn't say it, but I'm assuming it's not going to happen. So with that said, this season right now, why would you bring Kyle Tucker in if you didn't have any plans on re-signing him? That's my first question. And then two, what is the direction if you don't? Because you're right, that's a lot of money that you do now save, and you do have pieces and holes. What would be the most important piece that they're eyeing if it's not Kyle Tucker?
Yeah, so the reason you bring him in is because essentially they need to win this year, right? They have to, or it's their jobs. They don't have they're I think it's as simple as that, right? And it's been pretty obvious what they've needed. They've needed this huge bat in the middle of their lineup. They haven't been able to develop that player ever since the 2016 team was traded away. The core was traded away in 21. That this is what's needed that they've needed the big bat. They haven't gotten it. Now they have it, and they had to pay up big to get a stud, like a top 5 bat in the league, right? So I think that answers that question. What's the plan afterwards? I think that's what we all kind of wonder, right? Okay, if you sign Kyle Tucker, then you're a big market team, then you're spending big, right? If that's what the front office is doing, then you're spending big. You're spending top let's say 6, 7, right? You're in the upper crust of baseball. Maybe not the Dodgers and Mets, but not far behind. if you're not, then you have to really think about what direction are you going? How do you treat this team? Are you trading away core pieces to kind of build up the roster around so you have more system depth, so you have a better overall team? You have to start thinking in a different manner. You have to start thinking like you don't want them to be the Milwaukee Brewers. You don't want them to be the Cleveland Guardians or the Tampa Bay Rays. But is that the way they have to start thinking? If they're not, yes, they spend more than those teams, but still, you can't go half in, half out here. You can't be this team that spends, oh, we spend $210 million. We're the Chicago Cubs. We outspend the NL Central. Okay, fine, but you're not really spending like the rest of the league. Look at the rest of the NL. Look at how they spend. It's just they have to pick a direction, because this middle ground, it puts them in a weird spot where they have these guys like Dansby Swanson, Jameson Taillon, bigger contracts, Ian Happ, bigger contracts, but they're not spending at where everyone else is spending as far as the big market clubs.
Sahadev, over under $500 million net present value for Kyle Tucker if he continues the way he's continuing right now. Well, I know Pup's going with the over.
Yeah, they have a lot to say apparently. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean,
they decided to pick this moment.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. They're enjoying this back and forth. So Vladdy's deal gave him $35.7 million per year over 14 years. Your colleague Ken Rosenthal said that Kyle is probably going to get himself 40 plus. And if he's 2 years younger than Vladdy, maybe that's 12 years. 12 years at, say, $42 million is $504 million. So do you buy into something like that in the offseason if you have enough teams involved? I mean, I think the Yankees, by the way, are going to go hard after Kyle Tucker. He's got Yankee written all over him, right? Just wants to go out, play, win, easy interview. Doesn't want to talk much with the media. Just wants, you know what I'm saying? Just going to get a big contract and play next to Judge for a decade.
I think that makes a lot of sense for them. I think they're the team that makes the most sense. They didn't pay up trade-wise to get him, and I know the media and fans called him out for that. And that's I think he makes a ton of sense for the Yankees. Does it get to $500 million? I'm going to say it doesn't, just because the Mets and the Dodgers right now, things change, right? And suddenly one of those teams gets involved, and then we're having a different conversation. But if the Mets and Dodgers aren't involved, I think it could stay under that. Ken is more tapped in than me, so I'll trust Ken. But if we're kind of like I'm guessing it's below. I often am a little low on what the market ends up being, though. The market tends to blow up. We're right before CBA expiring. Do teams pull back a little bit? I'm curious to see how it all plays out, because there's so many little factors going on here that it's going to be really interesting. And the Blue Jays were in kind of desperation mode, right? They had to keep Vlad. They were in this mode where if they lose Vlad, where are they? What's going on with that franchise, right? So I think he'll get close, though. I think he's going to get paid. I was talking to someone the other day. It's almost like we forgot what it's like to watch a player like this every day. We saw Chris Bryant win an MVP in 2016, but man, he's every at bat, you're he's going to grind the pitcher down, and he's going to he should have had another home run last night. The wind blew it down. He's just this other level of player that the Cubs haven't had in a while. So it reminds me that, they're a good, very good player. There are all-star level players, and then there are superstars, and that's where Kyle Tucker is, and he's going to get a lot of money.
Cubs fans and the Cubs organization need a superstar. In my opinion, that's who this guy is. I just think certain teams need stars. Let's go to a rookie, though. Matt Shaw. Obviously, his slash line isn't great. His walk rate is incredible. Is this team built to allow a rookie to learn in the big leagues while they're trying to make the playoffs? Because you look at teams like last year, Wyatt Langford. You look at guys like that struggled a little bit, didn't come into their own until partway through the season. The Brewers allowed Jackson Churio to become, quite possibly, second half, an MVP candidate. Obviously, the Cubs are in a different position. Do they have the bandwidth and the patience to allow Matt Shaw to become who they think Matt Shaw is going to be, having him hit 5th in the order on opening day.
Yeah, so Counsell did admit that was a little aggressive. He thought about it, moved him down in the lineup, take a little pressure off the kid. I do think he kind of has a leash here, and he has the luxury of not having to be the man, right? Like, he doesn't need to be this stud. We just talked a lot about Kyle Tucker. Seiya Suzuki's a very good offensive player. Ian Haff's very consistent. Dansby Swanson looks like a different player after core surgery in the offseason. Nico Horner, healthy as well. Like, they have these veterans that are consistent presences in the lineup. Michael Busch looks like he's ready to either match last year or maybe even take a little step above. Miguel Amaya looks so much better than he did the first half of last year. So there are all these guys that you can point to and say, okay, here are other players that can carry the team or step up on a given day. You're not the one that has to deliver. Just go out there and play your game, right? And I think he was putting a little bit too much pressure on himself in Japan. He's admitted as much. He wasn't being himself. Now he can just go out there and just try and do what you've always done. He's never failed at the professional level, right? So he knows what success feels like. I think it's so much harder in the big leagues. We all understand that. I think he has the right mentality. I think he has the right skill set. I think he's going to be okay. I don't want to suggest that he can have a Jackson Chourio like second half, because Jackson Chourio was a top 5 prospect and has always been looked at ever since he kind of popped onto the prospect scene as like a potential MVP candidate. I'm not sure if Matt Shaw's at that level, but I do think he can be like a very good, above average, all-star on occasion type offensive player. And you know what? He does not look like he's a detriment defensively. That's where I had my most questions, and he's not. He's not a mess out there. He makes all the easy plays. He makes difficult plays. He looks pretty good at third base, frankly. And if he can continue to improve there, he's not going to be an issue at all. Really unorthodox stance and everything. And I think the first couple games, fans were freaking out about that, thinking that wouldn't work. I don't think it, we've seen plenty of weird stances or whatever it may be. Whatever works for you works. And I think he's going to be fine. And I do agree. I think he has that kind of leash and leeway. He doesn't have a ton of pressure on him.
Yep, that's true. Hey, great combo with you, Sahadev. We got to jump, but we'll see you on Northside Territory.
Thanks so much. And thanks for listening to my dogs.
Thank you. Yes, they were great. Okay, they'll have their own territory at some point. Tough territory.
Soon enough.
Sahadev and Patrick on Northside Territory. Get it wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Be right back. Let's do this. Locks for you and me, Cam. You're up. BetMGM lock is.
All right, I'm taking my C note. I'm going the same game parlay. It's my time. I've been off by one, Kratz. He just won every game. But today I'm going Mets money line. All right, Clay Holmes over 6 strikeouts. And Pete Alonso, he's also trying to get paid like Vladdy. I don't know if he'll get there, but Pete Alonso to have an RBI today. 100 get you plus 425. I'm back at it. Let's go.
There you go. I like it. I'm going to go Garrett Crochet, run line, Red Sox winning tonight. What?
I was sorry. I was praying. My bad. Kratz saw me.
Oh, you were praying. I thought Kratz was laughing at my pick already.
No, I like you. I love your pick. I actually was looking at that pick.
I was like, what did I do?
I love that pick. No.
Okay.
That's all Gucci.
Do you know who Crochet is facing tonight? Does anyone know? I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. It's probably because you don't know the players. He's a late bloomer, picked up off waivers from the Tigers. His name's Easton Lucas, pitching for the Blue Jays, coming off 5 shutout against the Nationals. Red Sox offense is better. Garrett Crochet is a top 10, if not top 5 pitcher in the sport. So I'll take the run line at plus 115. One of those, Kratz, you look and you're like, the 1 versus the 7 starter?
Need it.
What am I
Lucas
missing
did good
here?
last time, so you're getting extra
I know
cash
he did.
because Lucas did good last time. And they
Right,
struggled
the
against
recency.
lefties a little bit. But I love it.
Okay.
I love it going against that bullpen.
So there's your 3. I feel like this is one tonight that I might lock in for the big boy parlay. Put them all together in a blender and see how it goes. Okay. Swing big on your next MLB SGP. That is same game parlay. A boost token to score a bigger payout if your baseball same game parlay hits. So go check it out right now. You can activate the boost token if you hit the qualifications needed. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll be right back. We'll go over a little clip from Trevor May's May Day, and we'll get to slap hands soon after that.
So FF is fastballs. So we have fastballs, we have breaking balls, and we have off speed. Off speed are changeups and splitters. Breaking balls are curveballs, sweepers, sliders. So generally, all down, right? This is middle of the plate, this is in, and this is fastballs in. So he can get to stuff away, but he can't get stuff way up. So he never hits anything really high, and he never hits breaking balls that are back doors. I don't throw a backdoor slider. Basically, I'm going to be honest right now. All this, not great for Trevor. Trevor is not in a good place if this is what I see, though. So basically, he handles the strike zone really well, too. So you got to get him to chase. Unfortunately, that is not something he does very much. He does chase below the zone. That is pretty much the only place he goes with you, which is really common for left-handed hitters that hit the bottom of the zone and hit the ball down really well. They tend to like to go lower because that's comfortable for them. So it's expanding on their natural bat path. You can get a chase, but they don't miss it. He doesn't miss it. He just doesn't hit it hard. He hits it on the ground more. He doesn't hit it for damage. So I go look at this. I go, okay, my slider goes there every time. Sweepers are out because that stays up higher. So I would throw something. Depth would be something I want more than side to side. I want up and down more than side to side. Throw a four-seam fastball up. And I'll probably stay away from him more. So basically, it's like, why take any shots in? There's no point to do it. I'm a reliever. I'm only going to face him once. I did face him twice. I threw him fastball and a changeup away. He popped them both up. So, and he did not seem very happy about it.
FT fam, Trevor May's got a good show going on Mondays. Check that out. He decked out a studio and he's got all the fancy graphics. Now he's got guests. I was the first one yesterday. Terrible first guest, but it was his call. And what did you think about his breakdown of how to approach Kyle Tucker, Cam? I mean, it certainly doesn't make a pitcher feel confident.
You know what? I like it. I just like the way he uses the information to his strengths, right? And I think that's what analytics should be about: using the information to your strengths, right? Understanding what you do well and what the opponent doesn't do well. So I love the breakdown, but what I got from it more than anything is understanding what you do well as a pitcher, and that's how you go about getting a guy like Kyle Tucker or any tough hitter out. Same thing, vice versa, goes for hitter. Understand what you do well and not get so caught up in what they do well. I think that's the most important thing.
Man, I think it's also a prime case of, man, when I get to the big leagues, I've been throwing 100. I'm just going to be able to get everybody out. Don't blindly, like golfers don't go up and they go, I'm 338 yards from the green. I'm going driver off the deck. You have to be smart about the way that you pitch. There's plenty of lanes right there for you to get Kyle Tucker out, because he was showing you damage. Those charts are how I built my scouting report before they even got those charts. It gives a pitcher confidence if he's able to execute location, and it gives a pitcher false confidence if he's like, whatever, bro. I throw 100 into a net. I'm just going to blow everybody away. Sorry. Kyle Tucker, elite stars, even really below average stars, can hit 1 billion miles an hour. They can time a bullet up. But if you can hit those lanes, now all of a sudden, there's not as much damage.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, you want to try and get him to chase? Good luck, but get him to chase low, right? A lot of guys get chase high. So high
Boom.
four-seamers, I guess, aren't getting Kyle Tucker too frequently if they're above the zone.
It's a ball. Doesn't swing at the ball.
And I like what he said. And I like what he said. And that's me as a reliever. I'm only seeing them once. That game plan might change a little bit depending on who that starting pitcher is. So those little things matter. The biggest thing, know who you are and know what you do well and understand the situation at hand.
Yeah, Kyle's a silent assassin.
Facts.
Now with the bat, that bat's loud.
My dad always told me the quiet ones are the ones you got to watch out for.
True.
And the ones with fan packs.
Nice. New slap hands.
Fire. Well done.
good.
Well done behind the scenes, peeps.
This isn't me saying that you made a bad call, Kratz. I just asking for Kratz hats.
Oh,
Dodgers D. It's not the
Wow.
Dragon. It's not the Dragons. It's not Tom Selleck and the Dragons. It's the Dodgers D from spring training. The blue though is so. I'm glad Jared got the great, like just locked in the camera because this blue is a ridiculously deep, dark blue. I love it.
I haven't seen that one. Is this the first time you're showing us that one?
It is. It is. I wore it the day that we went to Dodgers camp, but I left early, so we didn't get into it.
I was going to say, was it one of those days where I forgot to tee up Kratz hats? Because that happens
No.
sometimes.
No. It wasn't your fault.
Okay. If you want cool kicks, we have a giveaway right now. Hit up our Twitter and Instagram and comment for a chance to win those Adidas at a Zero Impact Plus florals. Trying to get the giveaway train rolling again. See everybody on Wednesday. Playback Wednesday. Dodgers-Nats game we'll do after FT. There it is. On our way out. Alana Clint. I think we've got a player or two that played for one of these teams. We'll let you know tomorrow.